I'm gonna go to this little corner stuff. It's sort of new to me a little
Sure.
bit.
Yeah.
So I first saw one of my first introductions. I'd watched a few Vanderklay videos, right? Vanderklay connected to Peterson, that sort of stuff. I saw Emily on Vanderklay's and somebody else's that was like this little corner. I forget who, but that was a big thing. And I'd come across your art. I forget how. And then more recently, I've been like, wait. In my personal life, I'm always looking for people like this, and like can't find anybody that like gets it, man. I can't find anybody who's interested in the same ideas. And then there's a bunch of these people who have been talking to each other for a while, it seems, that speak the same language that I speak. So what is this little corner, and like what is your guys's loose association with it up until this point? Whoever
You
wants
can
to
go
start.
ahead. Oh, me? Okay.
Sure.
Well, Emily has like the right to start because she was in it much before me. So you go ahead.
Okay.
Uh, sure. Yeah. Let's see. I spoke to Paul in, was it 2000, early 2019. And so Jordan Peterson he got like pretty popular in 2017 and 18, and he had so much new stuff that was really exciting like right around then. That was kind of like peak stuff, but there wasn't that many people talking about it. And I saw in my YouTube feed or whatever, there was this pastor, he had a huge white beard, and he's talking about Jordan Peterson, and I was like, ooh, okay. And plus he has a Dutch last name, and like I live in the town he went to college in, Calvin College or Calvin University or whatever, because it's CCR, it's Christian Reformed like hotspot. So I was like, oh, it's kind of like familiar something something. And I was watching him for a little bit, and he was just talking to people who were watching Jordan Peterson stuff, and he was like, why do you like this? And it was the weirdest. I'd never seen anybody do anything like that before. It was kind of there was like Joe Rogan podcast, there's like some podcasts and stuff, but it wasn't like it is now where everybody all the time is doing podcasts and talking to people online. So he was kind of like way ahead. It felt like maybe I was just in that little sphere, it was way ahead. So he would talk to people and just ask them about their relationship with Christianity and their kind of journey with, faith, or maybe they were atheistic or whatever, and how Peterson was affecting them. And other pastors were not doing that. He's really open. And so he kind of facilitated, and the people who would talk to him were then like, I need to talk to the other people because everybody was so excited. So I was just watching for a little bit, and then I finally got in touch with him because I think he brought
So
up
it
Alex
did start
Jones.
from Vanderklay. It like he was kind of like
Yeah,
the
that was
okay,
his thing. Yeah, yeah.
gotcha,
But he
gotcha.
eventually got in touch with Pajot and Vervaeke, and now they're all kind of buds. At least they were talking semi-regularly for a while, which was super cool. But the audience kind of like the comment section was like thoroughly embedded with each other. There was like a Discord quickly made, and it was really interactive. Like everybody was talking all the time. So, um, and everybody kind of got to know each other. So it became like this tight-knit group, but everybody spoke the same internet language because we were all watching
Hmm.
the same stuff. So
Hmm.
that's why you're like, oh, where's the tribe? It's like it's because there's like a jargon, there's like a sub language that we're all speaking, that if you walk up to someone on the sidewalk, they don't know what you're talking about. So that's why it's really nice. It means communication actually flows for certain ideas. So anyway, there's like this little corner is loosely the channels that popped up around Vanderklay, and some of the like Lucas, who did you talk to? You talked to Karen Wong, the meaning code, I
Yeah. In
think.
Sevilla.
Right. Yes, they're both kind of in there. There's like Grizz. Grizz is awesome. He's like there's just a bunch of little channels floating around, and
Yeah.
everybody kind of talks. It's this weird internet network of
That's
religious
so cool.
oddballs.
It's so
Yeah,
cool. I'm
it's
like,
really weird. But
yeah.
but they call it this little corner. So there's like that's what the corner is. It's this corner of the internet where people are discussing this kind of stuff, and they've been at it for a while. Um,
Yeah.
and they really care. So. So anyway, that's I talked to Paul once or twice, and that's how I got into that. But it's still going. I think it's still going pretty strong. I've kind of like backed out of it, because I have more
Mm.
real life stuff going on now than I did before. But yeah, it's still very present, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So Lucas, how did you get into that like later?
Yeah, so I was listening while you were like talking to Paul. I never listened to Paul van der Klei ever actually until quite recently after I met him in person. Um, but I just listened to Peterson for Vaki. I was turned on to that, and then Jonathan Pajot, who has a YouTube channel, Symbolic World. He's a icon carver, but now he mostly, I think, also does his YouTube channel. So he's an Orthodox Christian. Um, and so Jonathan Pajot, John Vervaeke, was a cognitive scientist, among other things, actually. Jordan Peterson and then Paul van der Klei are like the four main figures of that.
Horsemen
But I,
of this
huh?
little corner. The four horsemen of this little corner.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And so people that are aware of all four, I think, are often like into this little corner. But I was for a long time just aware of the three. So I never had people to interact with because partially that was because I already spoke to my brother and my dad about these things. Like I kind of had my
mm,
itch scratched in that regard. So I didn't really need to talk to many other people. And I had like some friends that were into similar things. Um, but yeah, I met Paul at some point because he came to the Netherlands for like a festival thing. And I saw him in Amsterdam and we were gonna like see Amsterdam together. And he looked at me, he's like, "Hey, I know you from YouTube." It was really funny.
nice, nice.
That was like the first time I'd met someone that I'd like that had seen me on YouTube before I'd met them. So that was really funny. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, Paul is kind of the person that made this thing into a community because he started talking to all these people that were like, yeah, well, random people, calls them randos. So like people that are into this stuff and that want to do their story or that want to like make this more embodied. And he made that happen. And he's like a machine. Like he uploads so much content. He's a pastor. So he has his own little church in Canada, I think. Is that true?
Sacramento,
Sacramento. So
California. Yeah.
California.
What's
Yeah.
what's the Dutch connection to this little corner? You said he has a Dutch last name. You both are Dutch, yes?
No.
Well, I'm
Well,
American, but
but yeah.
Dutch immigrant family, kind of.
Okay.
I mean, we have a Dutch last name, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha,
I think
gotcha.
I think the Dutch connection isn't actually like that strong, but I think because Paul is like his name sounds Dutch, and Vervaeke actually is also a Belgian name, which is funny. Um, but Paul's name like Van der Klei is not actually his real family name, but his family changed that because they were like during the time of the Nazis, they didn't want to be found out because he was actually Jewish, so the family was Jewish, and then he just changed it to a regular Dutch name. But yeah, so the area that Emilee's from, I guess, is more Dutch Reformed, and then there's some Dutch people that are more present in the corner, but not that many, to be fair.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't think it's a major thing. I think there's some
no,
people in the Netherlands who listen though. There's like a large enough chunk, I believe.
yeah, like we have
There's
now an embodied like little community here as well that we
Yeah.
like
oh,
each
okay.
other every month for like a little dinner and whatever. So it's quite fun.
Hmm.
But yeah.